back to Northern Sounds ASMR. Today's video is a special treat for all those people who are fans of local newspapers, the free things that come through your door. We get them weekly where we live. Where we used to live, we never used to get it. The same peninsula, but we didn't get these, which is fine because I never read them. In fact, the last time I read them is several years ago when I was a restaurateur, and it seemed that every week somebody would be opening a restaurant. So in the back here in the public notices, you'll find planning permissions, and you'll find planning notices, traffic notices, that kind of thing, and usually people wanting to apply for an alcohol license of some sort because they're building a restaurant or a bar or whatever. All these private names and addresses I could read out to you, but I'm not going to. So we'll skip through this together because as I say, I haven't read one of these for many, many moons. So let's see if there's any hard-hitting journalism in here. And sorry, I don't mean to be snidey. There are many people who started off in little local newspapers like this who went on to big careers and do very well and become quite the journalist. Bless them, I don't know if those days are gone. I don't know if you're able to do that anymore with the internet. And the phrases that I have learned, but I can't remember about citizen journalism. Because we're all armed apparently with our cameras on our telephones, and we're ready to record and give to the world. But the one thing about journalism is it's supposed to be independent, isn't it? It's supposed to be objective. Not always the case if you work for some of the larger organisations. I'm sure you either have to follow the rules or on your way. This week's edition it has a very large photo with a little inset photo in of a 12-year-old boy who was hit by a car at a busy junction, it says here, in an area in Wirral. And already more than 9,000 signatures have been collected in order to improve, a campaign to improve the crossroads. Now, I'll be honest, a notorious black spot for accidents, it says here. Well, people, you have to look where you're going, you know. This junction has 8 ordinary lanes and 4 filter lanes of traffic on it. So it's a very busy junction. So you have to wait till you get the confirmation to cross the road, you know, the little green man. If you get knocked down then, well, that's no fault of your own, but people do take chances, don't you think? I think people take chances, too many chances. And it worries me. People run across the road, people walk across the road with their telephones in their hand and can't see what's going on. But that's the front page anyway. The front cover is Thousands Back Junction Petition. There we are. So let's turn our attention to page 2. In page 2 you have things like the information of the publication, its address, its website, Facebook page, Twitter page, etc., etc. Chief reporter, advertising, chief reporter. It looks like there's only ever one reporter, but there we are. And this is interesting for me because I used to live here, in this area that they're speaking about. 2 walkers were rescued after getting stuck waist deep in mud near Thurston Beach. Well, I used to live just around the way there, and Hoylake's lifeboat volunteer crew launched their inshore rescue hovercraft to rescue 2 people. The area, it's all on the banks of the River Dee, and the River Dee is really quite, well, it's a very fast-flowing river. It goes straight out into the Irish Sea, and the other side of it is the River Mersey, which is also a very fast-flowing river, and they merge in the Irish Sea. You know, you're talking very wide estuaries with very fast-flowing, very deep trenches. It's not safe, so the tide can come back around you very quickly, and also it's muddy. The tide is in and out every 4 hours. You know, you see big shipping along these things. You have to be careful. But what really annoys me, just as a moany old man for a moment, we have in the UK, I don't know what it's like in the rest of the world, but in the UK we have the Royal National Lifeboat Institution, or Institute, I'm not really sure. And they are a charity, and they're filled with volunteers, and these volunteers jump on lifeboats in all kinds of hideous weather, jump in hovercrafts in hideous weather, rescue people who've got themselves in strife out in boats, or rescue shipping. We have a navy in the UK. We have a coast guard in the UK. Why do we not have full-time paid people to patrol our borders? That is to say, the huge bodies of water that surround us, the North Sea, the Irish Sea, the English Channel. We're surrounded by major waterways, and yet we rely upon these guys who are amazing, but they're volunteers. They're absolutely volunteers, and they risk their lives on a daily basis. I've seen the weather change. I've been able to stand and watch it come in, watch it come from Wales and right across to Liverpool. And you can see it change within a matter of 20 minutes as it's gone from there to there. Well done to them, hats off to them. They're very, very brave folks. I know a couple of them as well. So then we have on there, we have adverts for funeral plans and adverts, we buy houses for cash, that kind of thing. Let's not go there today. We'll save that moan for another day, shall we? Over on the next page is the continuation of the petition story from page 1, which goes on to page 3. There's a column there. Also here, there is a project launched to get kids connected. That sounds like a good idea, doesn't it? This paper has joined forces with rival publishers across the north of England to launch the Cash for Connectivity appeal. The emergency fundraising is targeting £1.2 million to help provide free internet to 100,000 disadvantaged households. Excellent. There's so many poor kids, poor families. We're bombarded on television, aren't we, with half-truths that we are all addicted to our telephones, addicted to our tablet readers, we're addicted to our computers. So many people in this country do not have computers. They may have one mobile telephone for the entire family. They may have one computer with 4 kids. It's not how it's portrayed on TV, I don't think. And I think these... I'll be careful what I say, but a friend of mine has he's a drama teacher actually, and he has 2 spare laptops because he does a lot of things online. He needs to keep his tech up to date, and so he changes his computers for bigger, powerful ones each time. So he's wiped 2 clean of their memories and the nonsense that's on there in order to pass them on to people who need them more than he. And good on him, and hats off to him. This was not meant to be a rant. This was not meant to be a moan. This is just commenting on what's going on the paper. Over on this side of the page as well. Oh yes, that's very sad. I won't read that. It's too sad. Too sad. It's been on the local news, on the TV. It's very sad. Here's one. The promenade has been transformed for television. Part of New Brighton Promenade has been turned into a disaster zone for filming of Series 2 of Sky One drama Cobra, writes Craig Manning. I don't know, do we know Cobra? Have you watched it? Has anyone watched it? A picture sent in by Globe Reader shows the set being prepared for scenes that are due to be filmed this week. Well, that's good, isn't it? There's some big names in this. The high-stakes drama, which stars Robert Carlyle, Anna Marshall, Victoria Hamilton, Fraser Walker, and Lucy Cohu. I hope I've pronounced your name correctly there, Lucy. Deals with an unfolding national emergency that threatens to engulf the country as the Cobra Committee, a team featuring Britain's leading experts, crisis contingency planners, and most senior politicians, fights to ensure the protection of the public. Very good. Filming on the second series, which is also taking place in Liverpool city centre, was halted last year because of restrictions caused by the coronavirus pandemic and was rescheduled. That's interesting. There's a lot of filming goes on in this part of the world. I think because it's cheap. Quite a few years ago, the Open Golf Championship came back to the Royal Liverpool Golf Course in Hoylake, which isn't really near Liverpool. It's near enough. It's a train ride away. But what that did was bring a lot of television crews here that hadn't seen the area, hadn't seen the peninsula before. And suddenly all these producers were going, my God, look at these amazing beaches. It's amazing. It's like a segment of Cornwall, if you don't know the area, picked up and dumped halfway up this landmass of the United Kingdom. Directly opposite us, across the Irish Sea, is Dublin. That's on a parallel with us. And we have some amazing buildings, some amazing architecture. And of course we have a great history of culture in this part of the world. The first thing that springs to mind obviously is the Beatles from Liverpool, but it's not just the Beatles. There's a huge variety of acting talent and singing talent and performers of all ilk that have hailed from this part of the world. So we've got the history of it here. But I think what the producers didn't realise until it must be 10 years ago now, I suppose, the number of facilities that are available here. There is a film office in Liverpool. The police are there to help out, to block roads off. There's plenty of filming. It's Liverpool itself has doubled for many scenes in many movies. The latest Batman film is just being filmed here across the river in Liverpool. Harry Potter, the tunnels scene in Harry Potter filmed here, etc., etc. So it's good to see that it brings money to the city that it otherwise wouldn't have, and in turn spreads out across the rest of the entire area. I hesitate to say Merseyside because there's no such place as Merseyside anymore. It's Liverpool City region, and Wirral falls under that brief of Liverpool City region. A bit like Greater Manchester. This would be interesting. The Independent Parliamentary Standards Authority has released annual figures for MPs' costs and expenses. Yes. MP costs published for Wirral. Well, a Wirral MP was among the most expensive in England last year. A report has revealed, costing the taxpayer around £220,000. That should say taxpayers because there's more than one taxpayer, although with the unemployment rates at the moment. Yeah, bad joke, I know. Figures from the IPSA show Wirral South MP Alison McGovern total business costs for the year 2019-2020 were £219,675.58. My word. That puts the digital culture, media and sport shadow minister's costs in the top 10% of all sitting members of Parliament in England elected before December 2019, and well above the UK average of £188,295. That's a staggering sum of money for one person to spend, don't you think? Staggering sum of money. Extraordinary figures, absolutely extraordinary figures. And a further £15,163. This is, I think this is all part and parcel. No, Ms McGovern spent £22,108 of her accommodation budget of £28,000. She spent that. She's allowed £28,500 just short of, and she spent just over £22,000 on accommodation, and a further £15,000 on travel and subsistence. Why are we not all MPs? I hear this next page. Riding Centre needs your help to get through COVID. A popular horse riding and training centre needs readers' help to support challenges caused by the pandemic. Okay. But isn't that, as a result of lockdown measures, is temporarily closed? We have a history of horse riding in Wirral. Some famous cartoons of young girls on little ponies from this neck of the woods. I find myself not commenting further on that because it's business, and I'm not going to comment any further on that. Yes, we have a massive, I have a full one-page advert for a solicitor's firm that how a will can protect your future. Do wills, time to plan for the future. There must be money in that then. A small business owner is concerned for her future after the announcement motorists will be charged for using council-run car parks again. Yes, it's quite a while the car parks that are owned by the council, they've stopped charging. Well, shops are not open. It's quite a quandary, isn't it? Do you get people to come into the town and park and go shopping? Or do you tell them to go home and stay home? It's hard to be in business, to have any kind of retail business right now. It's very, very tough, don't you think? So on the same page, we've got adverts for an auctioneer's. We've got an advert for sticky back plastic. That's unfair. There's an advert for a company that transforms your kitchen. They put a cover on top of your worktop and they put coatings on your kitchen doors to make it look like a new kitchen. Very good, very good. More adverts, another page of adverts. Will your leaflet, I can't speak today, I apologise. Will your leaflet campaign tick all the boxes? I don't have a leaflet campaign, so I really don't know. Exchange and Mart are advertising in another paper. Hard. Roller garage doors, that's expensive, isn't it? I hope my garage door doesn't break. Why your business must act now to continue trading with Europe, that's produced in association with the UK government. Big advert. Full page. New rules for businesses. Oh, it's hard, isn't it, if you're dealing with the EU? It's been one way for so many years and now it's suddenly changed. Very difficult. Very difficult for people. There is, however, a very, very pretty picture here of a snowy day in Port Sunlight, which, if you don't know Port Sunlight, which you probably don't, it was a huge village that was built for its workers, for the Sunlight Soap Company, Unilever, Pears Soap and what have you. And Port Sunlight is where they built the factory, and they built this stunning village for people, for the workers to live. Very, very well done. And you can buy them these days. It's a very beautiful place. And there's a lovely picture of a squirrel in the snow. Can we see that? That was very badly done, wasn't it? Let's see if I can show you that. Can you see that? We've got quite a few squirrels here where we live. Up in the house opposite where I am, they've got a huge, I mean huge oak tree in their front garden. And it's a conservation area, so they can't just trim it, cut it down. They have to get specialists in. And we have lots of birds and we have lots of squirrels. And they come across and bury their nuts all around the gardens. And forget where they buried them, which is hilarious. I have to stop my dogs from digging them up and eating them. Really do. A youth club coordinated 6,000 food hampers for distribution over the Christmas school holidays. Good for them. Very sad that it's needed, but well done then. And they're in an appeal to raise cash. Everybody seems to be appealing for cash, don't they? These good causes who need money just to get things done. We should all be volunteering. It's another sad story. That one, a COVID case rate falling, that's good. World's COVID-19 weekly infection rate is continuing to reduce. Latest figures show. Marvellous. That's the kind of news we like to hear. Now, is anyone like me as you get older? The oil's dry on your skin and you have to lick your fingers to turn the pages of a newspaper. Big advert for an HR team, with the HR team's phone number. Autism Together, we're hiring full-time, part-time and waking night support workers. Wow, very good. That's another bad news story, I won't read that, but there's adverts here for safety in bathing. So people who are maybe a little old or maybe a little infirm, and they have things which help you get in and out of the bath. Here we're good to go. Oh, these amazing tools. What amazes me is that these things are still going. People will meet outside a local pub, in a pub car park, and they'll all clamber on a coach and they will travel for the entire day, and they will spend times in Douglas on the Isle of Man, the lakes and the dales, Bath and Longleat, Dunoon and Highlands. On the way to Dunoon, we take the ferry from Gourock for lovely views of the Isles of Bute. Fantastic. Don't cost a lot of money. Great deal of time sitting in a coach, however. But one of my sisters, of which I have many, absolutely adores this kind of thing. Absolutely adores it. Not for me. Local democracy reporter. Okay. Local democracy reporting service. This chap has told the local democracy reporting service about his experience of being treated for coronavirus. And he says that the health staff, quote, deserve a medal, unquote. Well, yeah, they deserve a pay rise, but a medal with the pay rise wouldn't hurt. That's nice to see. Advert for winter hardy plants. A big government-backed, look him in the eyes and tell him the risk isn't real, NHS advert. A Wirral school is recognised for being ADHD friendly. Oh, that's interesting. Orrett's Meadow School proudly show off the new ADHD Foundation Award. Oh, that's very good. Far more common than we give it credence, I think. ADHD. In brief, there's time for chat. A new text messaging service aims to help young people manage their mental well-being during the coronavirus pandemic, and that's anything that helps people's mental well-being of any age is good news, I think. And then there's more coach travels to different parts of the world. Newquay, Blenheim Palace, and Norfolk's trains. I was rushing ahead of myself. I was trying to say Norfolk trains before I'd finished saying Blenheim Palace. Silly boy. And then there's buy one, get one free on pillows. Oh, there you go. 2 pillows for the price of one, just £4 million. That's a joke, an exaggeration. Sponsored silence boost for charity. There's a great way when I was at school, if the teachers were sick and tired of you, we're having a sponsored silence. Poetry contest has been launched. Chance to become a lifeguard. Okay. Again, the RNLI, the Royal National Lifeboat Institution, has launched a campaign to recruit lifeguards in Wirral during the summer peak season. Very good. If you like that kind of thing, I'm not a great swimmer. Can you swim? I can swim, but I've never been one for... I don't have the stamina. I enjoy it, but it's not something I want to do. You know the way people go running, people go cycling, and I wish I had the wherewithal. Then there's this thing about equity release in your house if you're of a certain age, assuming you own your house, if you're of a certain age. Travel holiday hopes for year ahead. That's good. And what's this one? I don't understand what this is. The good news is we can now offer access to online puzzles and exclusive reader discounts as a distraction. Well, that's nice, but you have to pay for it. So that's the local paper's own thing, I think. I'm back to licking my fingers aside. Boilers. Oh, boilers. How's your boiler? Get your boiler serviced. Get it cleaned. But better yet, get your central heating cleaned. You know, your radiators and your pipes. That's what causes the issue with the boiler, not the boiler itself, usually speaking. And they come with huge warranties these days, don't they? Government's trying to phase out gas boilers in the UK. Trying to get us all to go to ground source heating pumps. Well, the problem with that is if you don't own your land, you have no ground. What if you live in a flat? What if you live in a terraced house with no outdoor space? It's not thought through. Not thought through. On page 24 here we have adverts for magazines and for the easy way to design your leaflets. But there's a community page here. And a cancer survivor, this young lady, is pictured during a recent fundraising Race for Life. Sign up to join We're All Race for Life. Globe readers are being urged to look beyond lockdown. We're all being urged to look beyond lockdown by making a date to join Cancer Research UK's Race for Life in Wirral. Such a shame that we have to raise money. Such a shame that these things have to be charity-led, don't you think? When I was a young boy, which I know is so many thousands of years ago, the cancer rate around the world used to be 1 in 4. 1 in 4. It affected my family quite badly at one point, which I won't bore you with today. And now the cancer rate is 1 in 2. That's scary. Absolutely scary. Clubhouse revamp. Plans on the table. Do you remember I was talking to you about the Open Golf Tournament came to the Royal Liverpool Golf Club? Well, it's they who are proposing to have their clubhouse renovated. It's amongst planning applications that have been submitted to the council this week. If approved, the golf club will renovate its Village Play clubhouse. I don't know what Village Play clubhouse is. The work would include a front terrace upgrade to including a hardwood timber pergola. This place, the money that's been spent on this golf course, staggering. A lot of money in golf, hey? Land purchase talks, plans to redevelop parts of a town which is recovering from a devastating explosion. Quite a while ago, there was a gas explosion in a series of shops, and the town was great section of it was decimated, and it's been completely and utterly ignored by government. Completely ignored. All these places who can't claim insurance. I seem like I'm moaning. Is that what the newspaper does? Does it make you moan? Do you think it turns me into a grumpy old man? I think I may have been a grumpy old man before I started this. Homes and gardens. Easy seeds to sow for a blooming, lovely display to grace your garden. Do you get the pun? Do you see what they did there? Cosmos in a pot. Didn't Cosmos used to be a holiday company? Nicotiana. These are names of plants, by the way. Californian poppies. Calendula growing next to tomatoes. And other thing, Cleome. Isn't that an STD? I'm sure it is. Nasturtiums. Casting nasturtiums on my character. Haunted Wirral. Haunted Wirral. We are all aware of the passing of time, yet no one knows just what time it is and what keeps time moving forward for that matter. Well, we do, but anyway. Yeah, can't be bothered reading that, it's boring. 8-page special, 8-page puzzle special. Oh, that's it. There's all these things. These puzzles. You've got Sudoku, crosswords, crisscross, spot the difference. I used to love doing spot the difference as a child. There's one thing I couldn't do was crosswords. Still can't. Still can't. Crosswords cryptic, quick, word search, word sleuth, suguru, missing ink. You know, I might just keep that out. There's a giant crossword at the back. No, I might just keep that out. And see if there's any brainiacs in the family who can do something with it. Right, well, what happens at the back of the newspaper then is the local listings, which is adverts for this, that and the other. And, oh, we've got, at least for a change, look at this. Marmalade. I think, ever made your own marmalade? That's interesting. So there's recipes for making marmalade and rum and marmalade love cake. Well, I'll tell you what, I think I might just keep that. Take those recipes and make some rum and marmalade cake. And if I manage to get round to do it and eat it, I'll let you know how it was. And let's see if I'm going to make another one. Right. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.